Winning cures everything. Now for your hosts, Gary and Chris.
Welcome in. Winning cures everything. It is Tuesday, June the 16th. I'm Gary.
I'm Chris.
And we have got a ton of stuff going on today. It's football stuff. You know what? Let me take that back. I'm going to turn this down, and I'm going to let y'all know we're going to say that it's a ton of stuff. It's really not. It's kind of a slow news day. But there is football stuff to discuss. So, of course, we're going to jump in on all of that. We got College Football Hall of Fame, the Pro Bowl stuff, etc. But we will get to that here momentarily. The new website is up. It is live. If there are problems, let me know. But go to winningcureseverything.com. Go check it out. You know, scroll around. See what you like, what you don't like. Give me some feedback. You can always email us, Gary at winningcureseverything.com. You can hit us up on Twitter. We're at Winning Cures. I'm at Gary WCE. Chris is at Chris B. Giannini. Hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up wherever. And let us know what you like about the site, what you don't like. Obviously, I can change around whatever we need to. But I do want to get some feedback on it. All of our picks, previews, podcasts, videos, social media platforms, it's all right there on the website. So go do us a favor and check it out, winningcureseverything.com. Make sure you are subscribed at all the live locations. The Brown Yeti already jumps in on YouTube. You can subscribe on YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, Twitter, and Facebook. That's where the live show goes up every single day. We are rocking and rolling. The chat, you can jump in there. It is at the bottom left of your screen. So go and take a look, do your thing, jump in the chat. You guys help drive the conversation every single day, and we appreciate it. The show is brought to you by Tunica, Mississippi. They are the South's premier sports gambling destination. They got 6 wonderful, incredible sports books. You can find more information on them over at tunicatravel.com. They are open. They are ready for business, and we are going to have football, and they are ready to go take your bet. So go ahead and check them out, tunicatravel.com, to get all the information about them. And let's go ahead and dive into this stuff. Podcast. Go download the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, leave a nice review. 5 stars over at Apple Podcast. You can get it on Spotify. You can get it on Google Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is. I personally use Overcast, but it's on everywhere. So go check it out. Winning Cures Everything on whatever your favorite podcast app is. Let's go ahead and dive in here. Chris, they announced the College Football Hall of Fame ballot for 2021 today, and you and I were trying to figure out the best way to go about discussing this because there are 85 names on the ballot. There are 78 players and 7 coaches, and there's really not a good way to do this, is there?
Well, it's hard because A, the list is too big, and B, the criteria for getting in and like how many votes someone has and what it actually takes is too confusing.
Yes.
And it really bothers me. I'm not a fan. I love Hall of Fames. I like going to these places. I like looking back at the history of the game from the best of the best. I really hate everyone in the Hall of Fame because they all are just such elitist, pompous pricks. And maybe they're not. Maybe they're wonderful people, and they just come across that way because they have arbitrary rules that don't make any sense to me.
Well, let's talk about the one that I was telling you before we came on that I feel is a major snub, and that's Howard Schnellenberger. According to the criteria that they have set for coaches, he will never get in. Schnellenberger's 86 years old right now. And he deserves to be in. He won Miami's first national championship. He coached with Bear Bryant. All that. I mean, he built Miami from the ground up. He built Louisville from the ground up. Like, he left Miami after the national championship in '83 and went to the USFL. That league failed. He came back to college. He built up Louisville to the point where they were winning Fiesta Bowls and whatnot in the early '90s. He built the Louisville program up. And then he leaves Louisville and he goes and he builds up Florida Atlantic. Like, he builds teams from the ground up and provides them a foundation. Miami, still a relevant college football team. Louisville, now in a Power 5 league, a relevant college football program. Florida Atlantic, built from a bottom-feeding FCS program up to now. I mean, they've won the Conference USA 2 out of the last 3 years. Like, he did some fantastic things in coaching. He deserves to be in, but he never will be.
You and I do this all the time. I fight this fight constantly when they give somebody's entire resume and they say, oh, well, he was only really mediocre. Look at his win-loss record. The dude took over a toilet.
Yeah, every place he went, he took over a toilet. Yeah.
And so you got this rebuilding. You got to have these year zeros that you just can't use to crush your resume.
Yeah, the resume says, or the criteria is that if you're a coach trying to get into the Hall of Fame, you have to have a 600 or better winning percentage over your career. Well, Schnellenberger's is only 506. Not great, obviously, but all of that is weighed down by those early seasons where he was trying to build a foundation, build a culture.
Yeah, when he took over really bad teams, and it takes a couple of years, you build the new team, you win at an elite level, you move on to the next job, you rebuild that one. And that takes time.
The crazy thing, had he not taken over Florida Atlantic, he would be in the Hall of Fame already.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Had he not taken over Florida Atlantic and done what he did there, you're right. He would have.
You got it. So let's talk about some of the players. I guess the biggest name on the list is Ray Lewis, and we're still trying to figure out how in the world Ray Lewis is not already in the College Football Hall of Fame. It just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Like, we can't figure out the rules about, your playing career being over in the NFL and how many years after and da-da-da. Now, it could be, like, there is a clause in here about being a good citizen and whatnot, so obviously Ray Lewis had the legal incident regarding the Super Bowl.
The murder charge, you mean?
Yeah, I was going to stray away from it, but yeah.
I mean, you're saying it like he got caught with a dime bag of weed, which
no, it was a murder charge.
Folks, a dime bag is what used to cost $10. They don't sell those anymore.
The Brown Yeti jumps in on YouTube, said, "Just make your own Hall of Fame." That's what I do, and he definitely makes mine.
Yeah,
maybe we should do that. Maybe we should have the Winning Cures Everything Hall of Fame. Hey, just put it on the website. Like, every year we set our own list of criteria, which will be very minuscule, and we'll just decide who deserves to be in it and who doesn't.
Yeah.
I could get down with that.
I don't know. Here's the problem. What happens if you like one guy and I don't? Or I like a guy and you don't?
Well, then they don't get in.
I'm okay with that.
That's to get in, you have to win over both of us.
Okay.
I think that's totally fair, right?
Because I'm right with that, I guess.
In these Hall of Fames, there's a lot of people that vote for the people that are on the list, but not everybody gets enough votes.
Yeah, usually you got a lot of voices, though. Here you just have 2.
Yeah. Hey,
so you basically have to be unanimous or not.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Maybe we'll do that this year. We'll talk about that.
It seems like a lot of work.
It is. It is. But we'll decide. I mean, we can come up with a list of 10 every year and decide who gets in, who doesn't. So, all right. So let's talk about some of the names, and I'm just going to scroll through and just kind of run them up and see what's up. Champ Bailey. I mean, in 1998 was his last year in college.
I'm not sure how guys like him are, but I have no idea how any of this works.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Eric Bieniemy, another interesting name. Obviously, offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. He was a running back for Colorado. It says he played in 2 national championships. That's not completely true because they didn't have 1 versus 2 back then. Now, Colorado did win a national championship back in 1990. He was part of that team. So that's kind of cool. Another one, Michael Bishop. Do you remember him playing for Kansas State? I mean, he was another Michael Vick. He was just incredible, and I mean, he won a lot of games for Bill Snyder. So yeah, I enjoyed that one. I mean, there's just tons of names. Tim Couch was one that I still don't understand.
I don't know how Tim Couch didn't in. I don't know how Julius Peppers didn't in. Like these guys were studs in college football.
Oh, 100%. Tim
Couch
were
just was studs.
He was on that Kentucky team that was Hal Mumme and Mike Leach that brought the air raid really to the SEC, and teams had no idea what to do with that kind of offense back then.
Right.
And that was like mid-90s, He was the 1998 SEC Player of the Year. Led Kentucky to their first win over Alabama in 75 years that year.
He won a Heisman?
He did not win a Heisman. No. He finished fourth in Heisman voting. He was the 1998 SEC Player of the Year. Yeah. Okay. Jack Del Rio, USC linebacker back in '84. Now I don't know how good he was as a college player.
I think Jack was a pretty good player.
I think he was pretty good as well. Bobby Ingram, wide receiver at Penn State, he was unbelievable. He won a national championship for Penn State. Kevin Falk, your boy from LSU, that's another one. I mean, to get into the College Football Hall of Fame, you have to be a first-team All-American. And by whoever. Brown Yeti said, Rio. Yeah, Jack Del Rio, man. We love Riverboat Jack. Tony Franklin from Texas A&M. Dwight Freeney, man. That's it. I remember him at Syracuse.
Was he the same year as Ray Lewis? Was that Miami team that loaded?
No, Freeney was Syracuse, and he was 2001.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I don't know why I thought he was on that loaded Miami team. You're right. I just had that orange picture in my head.
Oh, I understand it. I understand.
No, that's right.
Robert Gallery, offensive tackle from Iowa. I mean, he was unbelievable as an offensive lineman. Bob Golick, kind of the same thing. Tony Gonzalez from Cal, tight end. I remember him just running through people. Al Harris from Arizona State. Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison, I think he did most of his damage in the NFL, but he was still lights out at Syracuse. So Josh Heupel, I brought that up to you. Josh Heupel was one of the kind of headline guys that ESPN and all these other companies wrote about, and he was pretty far down the list as far as interesting characters to me. He was the national championship winning quarterback for Bob Stoops, and he was a Heisman Trophy runner-up. He did all kinds of fun things at Oklahoma. He is the current head coach at UCF. So how he is eligible to get in right now, I don't understand this stuff. I don't get it. But it's still fun to talk about. Sebastian Janikowski is up now. Antonio Langham, Alabama defensive back, won a national championship in 1992 with Alabama. Ray Lewis, 95 first-team All-American and Butkus Award runner-up. Ed McCaffrey, everybody talks about Christian McCaffrey. His dad was pretty damn good at Stanford. Just all kind of different names on here. Ken Norton Jr., Carson Palmer, Julius Peppers, Antoine Randall L., Ron Rivera, Rashawn Salam, Chris Samuels. How these guys are not already in here blows my mind. And I've been to the College Football Hall of Fame 3 times, and it is almost impossible to go through the list of everybody that has made the Hall of Fame. But it's fascinating. It is just incredibly fascinating to go through and watch all the videos and see all the names that did make it and kind of jog your memory back to when you first became a fan. Darren Sproles from Kansas State, C.J. Spiller, Aaron Taylor from Notre Dame, Troy Vincent from Wisconsin, Roy Williams, Oklahoma, Al Wilson from Tennessee, linebacker, and now we get to the coaches, right? And we'll talk about Bob Stoops for just a minute. I think that's an easy one. I think Stoops is going to get in. And then aside from that, you've got Gary Pinkel. And maybe he deserves to get in. I guess he took Missouri to, a few SEC East titles. Didn't really do anything with him in the Big 12. But he built, a pretty good foundation there. Billy Jack Murphy from Memphis. Of course, I got to bring him up, local guy. And the one that I really wanted to bring up, Larry Blakeney from Troy, is on the list. Now, I don't know that Larry Blakeney makes it, but he was Troy's head coach from 1991 until 2014. That is a long time to stay at one place. And he built Troy up from the ground. And, he was the winningest coach in Sun Belt history, 4-time Conference Coach of the Year, had 8 conference titles, 5 in the Sun Belt, 3 in the Southland, had 7 FCS playoff appearances in 8 seasons, and then led Troy into the FBS. And Troy now, although not a massive school, is still a very respected program. The Brown Yeti said it's hard to make it because every year there's probably 4 to 5 people from each conference that should make it. Yeah.
This list is too big. The list is too damn big.
85 people on the list it's impossible to get through them all.
It's supposed to be the Hall of Fame, the great, the very, very great, not the very, very good, very, very great, which means it's okay to leave people off the list.
And maybe some of these criteria maybe need to be changed a little bit. I mean, the fact that Michael Vick will never be able to get into this.
I don't like hardline numbers, okay?
Yeah.
I don't like hardline rules like you have to be at 600. Because then my question is, well, does every coach that finishes with over 600 winning percentage get in? Because you made that rule. You put that criteria there. So now everybody feels like, well, I got over that rule. So now winning, it's just a matter of time, right? Like eventually I'm going to get in because I jumped your hurdle. Well, don't put hurdles. Don't put hardline numbers in things when you're doing this. This is why I hate Hall of Fame committee members and how they put these things together.
It changes like what a guy
put together badly. Every one of them have major flaws in how they are put together.
It changes like what a guy can do with the end of his career, right? So if Mac Brown was sitting right at like 6'11" and thought about maybe coming back to North Carolina, but knew it would take a couple of years to get it off the ground and running, but really wanted to help the school that he came from, et cetera, at the end of his career, and he was only going to be there for a few years, but he wanted to get the foundation built back right because they've had troubles or whatever, basically what he's done in North Carolina. If he was sitting right on that threshold, he's already won a national championship. He was already doing really good things. At that point, do you decide, it's not worth it because I really want to make the Hall of Fame? It just kind of changes around what a guy can and can't do. And if the Hall of Fame matters to him, then you have to decide, okay, I know I'm going to take some L's here. If I don't, if I decide not to go help them out, like, how does that reflect on me? What is more important, right? So I hate that whole thing. How many times we'll actually run into that, who knows? But it was fun to look back through the list of people and see all these names, the Michael Bishops and the Darren Sproles and the C.J. Spillers and Antonio Langholm, everything, Kevin Falk, whatever. Just a lot of fun names, a lot of interesting stuff to go through. I cannot wait until we get a chance to go back to the College Football Hall of Fame. So you have not gone with me. We hadn't done that, have we? Yeah, I've only gone with other people. So, we need to do that. We need to do that sometime. We need to go and document everything and, talk about it on the show and whatnot. But it is incredibly, incredibly entertaining. Let's move on from there. Another kind of news drop that is a semi-big deal, I guess. I think this is a good decision. The NFL Pro Bowl has moved from Orlando to Las Vegas for January 31st, 2021. And I am stoked about it. I think this is a fascinating idea that they should have done years ago. Truth of the matter, I think when they
didn't have a facility to really do it years ago.
Agreed. And now they've got Allegiant Stadium. But, I mean, they could have – there's not a crowd.
They're not going to do it at the Rebel Stadium. They're not going to go to UNLV's shitty stadium.
You're right. You're right.
Thing.
Well, I mean,
it holds like 30,000 people. Come on, dude.
Yeah, but there's less than 30,000 that go there. Like this is more so for the players, right? So
no, it's not. No.
I think that's why they moved it to Vegas.
All the Pro Bowl is a fan event. That's all it is. All week long, you do this and you meet and greet fans, and then you do this and you meet and greet fans. You do this and you meet and greet fans. That's all it is, a fan event. So while I'm excited about this because I love Vegas, there's a little bit of me that if you're a player in the NFL, going to Vegas is no big deal. You got the means and the ability to go to Vegas all the time. Doing it here is fine. I think it's okay. But at some point in time, like going to Hawaii is an event. Hawaii is a different kind of thing. And then the other thing is Vegas, like, they'll say they're family friendly, man. Vegas is not a place for children. All right. One of these people, when you bring your kids to Vegas, I hate you. And I talk a lot of shit about you. And I probably walk by your stroller cursing and swearing really loud.
I believe it.
because I'm annoyed by that. And I think you're taking some of the family out of it. Now, I love it. Being the degenerate, always looking for an excuse to try to go to Vegas. No problem. I do not have the means unless some business is going to send me to Hawaii to go to Hawaii and watch stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I looked at this as this is a good reason for the players to actually go, because it's a lot easier for players to go to Orlando. Like, I understand that players can go wherever they want to pretty much all the time.
Yep.
But if Hawaii was not working out for whatever reason, you couldn't get the fans there, you couldn't get da-da-da-da, Orlando is cheaper, easier, whatever.
Orlando, I thought, was the best situation because so much of it is so family-friendly.
Yes. However, like, I look at this, and a lot of the players that are going may not have kids, may not be interested in taking their kids, all that kind of stuff.
I'm not worried about the players bringing their kids. I'm worried about the fans.
Agreed. But I think that if you're looking at it from a player's perspective, you can get more players, because think about how many guys sit out the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
So if you got that many guys sitting out the Pro Bowl, take it to Vegas, let them have themselves a good time, a good weekend, a good week, whatever. You can get fans over there pretty easy. Flights are pretty cheap to get in. I like it. I think it's a good idea.
I'm okay with it. I see how it could end up. So I am a unique person. Everybody doesn't have to feel the way I feel, and everybody doesn't think the way I think. While I love going to these things, I'm going to be the last person to get in line to get an autograph or a picture.
Agreed.
I just feel very uncomfortable being a 37-year-old man, like going up to another 24-year-old man and saying, hey, can I take your picture? Will you sign this for me? I just feel weird. And if I have a kid, then I'm absolutely being like, hey, go get Patrick Mahomes' autograph. This is really cool. That's different. But if there are no children around and it's just a bunch of dudes that are like me all standing in this line, I feel like that line is substantially creepier.
Yeah.
Like, that is a party I don't really want to go to. It's a club with nothing but dudes, and there are no chicks there. That's all I think of when I think of what's going to be at these events now if they're in Vegas. And I think I really want to go see these things, but, man, I think the crowd is going to be a little weird.
It might be. I don't know. I think it is.
There'll be people who are going to just bring their kids anyway, and then that's just going to piss me off when they leave the event and they're pushing their stroller through the casino.
I will say this.
I'm swearing at the craps table.
Vegas is big enough at this point, and there are a lot of things that are family-friendly about Vegas. I've got friends that have taken their kids out there and whatnot, and there are plenty of things that you can do for the kids.
I don't want you to do those things because I want to do those things, and I don't want your kid there.
Yeah. No, I can understand that. Brown Yeti said Beck's loser playing in the background. Then he said, going back to the other topic, he said 600% is hard to make. I think there should be a line. It should be, who do you think should make it off the top of your head? And eventually you'll get all the people who are no doubters.
Yeah, I just don't like putting a hard rule on stuff. I mean, baseball used to have unspoken rules. It was like 300 wins would get you in. And then you'd have like every Joe Blow in the world getting the 300 wins. Like, well, that's no longer a criterion. 500 home runs will get you in. And it was a shoe-in kind of thing. And then they had to reevaluate. And those weren't even hard written down rules. Those are just rules that every writer kind of had in their head. And you can at least change those. This is a hard rule that's a guideline.
Yeah.
That's like part of the bylaws. That's I have a problem with that. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. All right, so let's dive off of the Pro Bowl and let's bring up Kyle Shanahan. Now, obviously, we are fans of Kyle Shanahan and the job that he's doing. The 49ers have extended him through 2025. His current contract ran through 2022. They tacked on another 3 years. That's a 6-year extension. Now, they have not given out money or any of those details as of right now. and it was announced basically last night, right?
Yep.
However, according to NBC Sports in the Bay Area, it says it really appears. Oh no, this was the Athletics' Matt Barrows. Shanahan and CEO Jed York actually agreed to the contract extension months ago before April's NFL draft. I think this is kind of a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, he's one of those guys that you just want to lock him up. You just do. He's going to be good for a long time. We
don't see
him,
NFL coaches.
Him and Sean McVay are the two young guys that I just think you're never going to be out of it with those guys on your roster. Now, I think the Rams have done an incredible disservice to Sean McVay, and if some of the personnel decision-making is his fault, then shame on them for giving somebody so young so much power and influence. But I don't think it's on him. I think there's a GM involved there too that's just not making wise decisions. They basically went all in on a young coach real quick, real early, made it to a Super Bowl, didn't work out, and now I think that team is going to fall apart.
Yeah.
The 49ers, on the other hand, I believe John Lynch has done an amazing job working hand in hand with Kyle, with Jed, and man, I kind of think they're built for the long term. I really do. I think they see big picture, and they see every individual year pretty well.
Yeah. I'm with you. Let's see. Brown Yeti said this is a mistake. How many times do teams do this and then fire the coach 2 years later? It's only one Super Bowl, and they didn't win it.
I don't care about winning it. I just care about I trust Kyle. I just do. I think he's a great offensive mind, and I think he understands how to run an NFL organization.
I mean, don't
trust
forget,
John Lynch as well.
He comes from a lineage of fantastic coaches. Like, he understands how to be a head coach in the NFL, and he's also young enough to continue to be innovative. Like, he can change what he's doing, and he can learn new things and whatever. He has never been a hard-headed individual. He can change what he wants to do. Now, we can question some of his play calling in his 2 Super Bowls.
Oh, yeah, you can go do all that all day long.
But when it comes down to it, like, they built this team up, and he seems to be doing a pretty good job. Now, if it were me, 6 years is a really long time for an NFL coach.
I don't know.
But
these young guys, it's too hard
to
win without one.
Yeah. Once you get one, you got to get them. Brown Yeti said they said and trusted the last coach that got him there. Yeah.
No, that guy left. They didn't say or trust it. They never offered him an extension.
No, they didn't.
The owner and him hated each other.
Yeah, Harbaugh,
Harbaugh never lost there ever. He did not leave because he could not win.
But what was his last season there? What did they go, like 8-8?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I think it was 8-8. So, but yeah, like
that's still not terrible. You can't say you could never go 500 in the NFL.
Exactly. Jesus, it was a year removed from making a Super Bowl. So but yeah, he and the owner never got along, and he just rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Like that's been his problem.
Yeah, he's just a hard guy to get along with. The owner wanted a friend, and look what happened when he left.
Yeah, you got that right. So.
That 8-8 years pretty damn good now, wasn't it? Yeah, I finished 8-8. But before that, the 3 years before that, 13-3, 11-4, 11-4-1, and 12-4.
Pretty good.
Pretty damn good record.
With 2 NFC Championship game appearances.
That's a 700 winning percentage.
Yeah.
In the NFL in 4 years.
It's pretty remarkable.
And that 49ers team that he took over, that he went 13-3,
was
dog shit the year before he got there.
They were really, really bad. And
they went 13-3 his first year there.
And then Harbaugh leaves, and they go with what Chip Kelly was there, and it
was a litany of people.
Yes,
but
and
the
they were
personnel
all
his first year were the exact same as Jim Harbaugh's year, and they were awful.
Yeah, they were really, really bad. So yeah, I think it's a good move.
Coaches are hard to find. You find a good one, you lock them up as long as they want to be there.
You got it. So if Shanahan was willing to sign an extension through 2025, you keep him around as long as you can keep him. Let's move on. Next one up, and I'll go on and bring this up here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. New uniforms. So we're going to go ahead and react to it. So your boy Tom Brady is kind of the model for these. Very interesting stuff. You know,
very distinguished man about town look.
You got that right. So they've got several different options for for their uniforms here. They got the red, they got the white, they got the gold helmet, they got the darker color, which is not like I guess it's a dark gold, maybe like black mixed with gold, I guess. But yeah, I'm a fan of what it looks like. I didn't think it changed that much. You know, maybe I'm crazy. Like there was no logo change, anything like that. I think the helmet got a little darker. The red is a little brighter. I think that's about it.
Yeah, the helmet's definitely like much of a pewter color.
Yeah. I think it looks good.
I like it.
I don't see anything wrong with what they did. Like I was a little worried they were going to try and do something crazy like what the Falcons did.
No, no. I like these unis. I like these unis a lot. I like the gray. It's probably my favorite one.
Yeah. No, the gray one does look really good.
The gray on gray.
The site that I've got pulled up doesn't have it, but yeah, there we go. Let's pull this one up. Maybe it's still showing it down here. If it's ever going to pull up, is what it is. But yeah, the gray one looks really good. It's like a kind of a charcoal color.
Yeah, it's very much a pewter color.
Yeah, and it's pretty styling, man. Like I could see myself sporting stuff like this. So, and I think it's going to look good on TV, and that's really what they're trying to do. You know, trying to look cool.
Well, it's going to look good with number 12 in it. I know that.
You got that right. You got that right. All right, let's pull up this one. There we go. Joseph said it's pewter. So, there we go. Yeah, that's pull it up big time, big screen. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good stuff. Yeah, I can get down with it. I like what the Bucs are doing. Joseph Gomez has been quiet all day, and then he just hops in right here at the end, saves us, tells us it's pewter. I like that.
I had that.
I know you had it. I know.
I tell you things all the time. Somebody else tells it to you. It's immediate confirmation.
I trust you.
No, you don't.
Really, yes, I do.
No, you don't. You just don't. You say with words you do, but you say with actions you don't.
Everybody knows
all right.
how much I love you, buddy.
That's all right. That's okay. Like I said, words,
yeah, are not as I guess not as important as actions, right? There you go. All right. Is there anything that's broken or anything today? This is going to be a short show.
Nope.
Not a lot going on in the world today, but I think that's okay. I think that's okay. All right, you guys have been fantastic. Of course, everybody that jumped in the chat, we appreciate you very, very much. Share the show out. Tell your buddies about it. Make sure you are subscribed to the podcast. Everything else, go leave a review on Apple Podcasts. That's the way that you can help us out the most. And go to winningcureseverything.com and tell me what you like about the website and what you don't. You can send an email or just hit us up on Twitter one way or the other. Make sure you go over to tunicatravel.com. We'll have our announcement tomorrow. I've got to read through a couple things this evening, but yes, we will have our announcement done tomorrow. We'll lead the show off with it, so hopefully you guys will tune in for that one. Joseph said, got in late, actually working from home. We all love you, Chris. I'll send you the Jeter jersey. So I wonder if he meant the pewter jersey. So Brown Yeti said, glad I wasn't the only chat rat. Peace, guys. You guys have been fantastic. You always are. We definitely appreciate you. Again, review, subscribe, share out the show, all that wonderful stuff, and go to the website, tunicatravel.com, winningcureseverything.com. For now, take care of yourself, take care of each other. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for checking out Winning Cures Everything. If you want to keep up with us, hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app, visit the website at winningcureseverything.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us at Winning Cures, at